And now the self-proclaimed geniuses up there want to get it wrong again. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Patrick Hughes. I think Pat is going to speak first. Patrick Hughes, former candidate for Senate, my friend, hopefully candidate for Senate again.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Dan and Donna. It's great to see you. I probably shouldn't say anything. That's about as good as it's going to get for me, right there. Thank you so much for having me. Like everyone has said tonight, you guys do such incredible work. And you know, Charlie mentioned my Senate campaign a little while ago, and I remember the night of election night. And I lost by a pretty good margin, and sort of in the last couple of days knew it wasn't going to work out. But we worked really, really hard and tried to accomplish a great deal, standing up for the conservative values that we share. And it was a rough night. Charlie was there at the sort of the after party while the election returns were coming in. And I got a telephone call from Congressman Shimkus, who I had grown to know and like, and Rodney Davis, who I had grown to know and like during the campaign. And they called to tell me on what was a very disappointing and sad night with my family around that, hey Pat, guess what? You're winning Madison County. So I want to thank you guys for giving me a bright spot in which was otherwise a very difficult evening. Every day after that evening has been a blessing, though, because we've continued to fight for the things that we all believe in. And this last month or two has been incredible because I feel a sense of deja vu. Do you guys feel that? You feel this sense that we've seen this before, right? You have a hopefully one-term president with a feckless foreign policy. Right? The Middle East is burning. Our economy is in shambles. Right? This is what my life was like in the late 1970s. I grew up in this little tiny apartment on the northwest side of Chicago. And you could feel, even as a little kid, you could feel sort of the tumult and the tension. Right? My parents were in the kitchen trying to figure out how to pay the rent. The economy was bad. Everything was on television was bad, and you could feel it. And I used to sit out, this top floor of this little apartment and look out the window and wonder, what was my future going to be like? How were things going to change with all of this going on? And even as a 10-year-old boy, you can sense it. You can sense it. And then what happened? Political miracle happened, right? We got Ronald Reagan. And it changed not just the trajectory of how I felt about what my opportunities were going to be going forward, but how the nation felt about itself. And we are in that exact same circumstance right now, today, with 1 week left. Right? So, let me give you a number. That number is 3. It's an important number, 3. Okay? It's the number of kids I have, Anna and Catherine and John. Tomorrow we're going to go trick-or-treating on Halloween. It's the number of times a Democrat can vote in Cook County. I don't know if you know that. And it's the number of votes on a per precinct basis that Bill Brady and our friend Jason Plummer lost the last gubernatorial election. In other words, if we had gotten 3 more votes per precinct, we'd have a different governor. Would you guys like a different governor? Yeah! How would you like a different Speaker of the Illinois House? Would you like a different Now I'm going to give you an easy one. Who wants a new president of the United States? Yeah. 3 votes per precinct in this state. I'm going to give you another number on that 3. There are 3 things that we need to do. I actually feel a little embarrassed telling you guys because you know, but it's always good to be reminded that we can do between now and Election Day on November 6th. And then, not just November 6th, but 14, 16, and beyond, because this has to build on itself in order for anything to get done. Okay? Number 1, you have to gather information. Now, I know this group. I know how incredible you guys are in terms of how you work and what you do. You're constantly looking for the information that's necessary to do what? To advocate for the things that we believe in. Smaller government, our conservative values, right? So what do? We look in the newspaper, on television, right? If you're looking for a state issue, you go to the Illinois Policy Institute, where my friend John Tillman is the CEO, and they put out brilliant analysis and policy discussion about the direction this state should go in. Maybe you go to the Heritage Fund, website, right? And figure out what's going on nationally, right? Information from our side so we can be armed to make a determination about, what direction we should go in. And when you're talking to people, what direction they should be convinced to go in. But it's not enough to just get information from your side. It's not enough to just focus on the things that you care about, okay? You have to get information from the other side. Now, like Charlie, okay, I'm a conservative Republican. So you think that means that I watch a lot of Fox News. And I do. But like Charlie, I'm also a Catholic. And that means I'm a sinner. And that means I have to repent my sins and do penance, and so occasionally I watch MSNBC. And the reason I do that is because we have to know what the other side is thinking. We have to know what their arguments are, right? Because the only way to win an argument, and I learned this from practicing law over the years, and I wasn't a plaintiff's lawyer. I know that's rough here in Madison County. Is to understand and advocate your argument and to deconstruct theirs. And if you don't have information from both sides, you might think that what happened in Benghazi was caused by a YouTube video. You might think that Mitt Romney pays less in taxes than his plumber does, right? But we know that's not true. And look, we want to dismiss the other side as crazy, right? They're not crazy, right? They're focused. They know exactly what they're trying to accomplish. And it's insidious. They want to give you more freedom and grow government as large as they can to serve their own interests and the interests of the people they're in business with. And we can't let that happen. Information. Number 2, action. I'm embarrassed to even talk to you about this. This is one of the great groups any of us have ever seen. We talk about it all the time. Dan and I travel the entire state. We work with groups all over the state to do what? Do exactly what you guys do here every day. And the stories we hear about what you've accomplished, about how hard you work, it's what makes us want to get up and go, right? Because we know that you're here getting up and going. So when Charlie calls me and says, hey, Pat, we need a little money from your organization to help these folks, the easiest decision we ever made. The easiest $1,000 we'll ever spend, because I know, Dan knows, that you're going to go out there and work every day between now and Election Day and beyond to get the people in office who are going to change the policies in the state, that are going to bring us back to recovery, that are going to change the policies in our country, that are going to make us great. That's number 2, action. And then number 3, and Charlie's touched on this, and pretty much everyone in the room touched on this, and when I hear it, it touches me because I share it so profoundly. And that third thing is faith, right? When I was campaigning on cold, long, dark nights, away from my family, right? Away from my business, away from home, it's what kept me going. Knowing that there were people here doing the things that needed to be done to help me, to help other candidates, to move our democracy along. And that faith to me is a faith in God, that our country was divinely inspired. It's right there in the Declaration of Independence. You know, Jefferson uses that term, nature and nature's God. Specifically, he's talking about our Creator. And that's picked up again in the preamble to the Constitution, when we're talking about the blessings of liberty. And then again in the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, where it's talking about the rights that the government can't take from you. Why can't they take them from you? Because they were given to you, given to us by God. And you guys know between now and November 6th how hard it's going to be, how dark it's going to get, how hard you have to work. And you have to believe and know that that faith in God, that faith in this country, that faith in the principles that guide us are there to guide you. Because this is what will keep you going. It's what keeps me going. And what will keep us going as we do this on the 6th and in 14 and 16 and beyond. And we have to do it, and we continue to do it. And the reason is this. It's not 1979 anymore, right? It's not 1980, it's 2012. And there's a little kid, and he's, staring out the window of his apartment. He's wondering what he's going to be. And the noises in the background, and his parents are trying to bang out the rent. And it's our duty, because we're here, because we're able, to speak for him and his family when they have no voice, to stand with him and his family when they're outnumbered, and to put their interests, the interests of him and his family, ahead of our own. And if we do that, if we're true to ourselves and to our cause, and in the end, it's true to each other, we'll inherit the legacy of those who spoke for us, who stood for us, who gave to us, and who in many cases laid down their lives for us so that we could be here, so that we could be free. The time is now. Okay? We only have 6 days, 7 days until the 6th. We're going to get it done. Stand with us in the concepts of liberty, concepts of freedom, for our conservative values. And we'll stand with you. Let's get to work. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate